How's it going, everybody? My name's Warner Fields with Fields of Profit. I'm a mid-six-figure full-time Amazon seller, and if you're a returning viewer, you're probably wondering where I'm at. I've actually just finished an hour ago. I finished driving up to Madison, Wisconsin, where I'm now living for the next couple years. So if you're in the area and you'd be interested in having a little meetup or something, I'm tossing around the idea of that. Feel free to leave that down below in the comments that you'd be interested. Maybe I'll throw something together. But today I wanted to just talk to you guys real briefly about some of the biggest mistakes and misconceptions I had about selling on Amazon when I first started, so that hopefully you can learn from those mistakes. There's lots of pitfalls and things that you could accidentally mess up when you first start selling on Amazon, as well as just some general rules of thumb that hopefully I'll be able to guide you, be able to skip out on some of the mistakes that I made when I was first starting as an Amazon seller, make you even better at selling on Amazon than I am. So let's go ahead and jump into the video. So the first mistake that I made when I was selling on Amazon, and probably one of the biggest mistakes I've made as an Amazon seller, was selling used books for way too long. And I was able to sell over $100,000 worth of used books. You're probably saying, why is that a mistake? Why should I learn from that? So where the real issue comes with that is when I had capital sitting in the bank that was not being used. So on used books, you're paying $1, maybe even 50 cents a book. So it's very, very difficult to spend all that capital that you're making. In essence, you're making money too fast with used books. So once you get to the point where you're making your thrift sourcing runs, you're buying books locally, you're doing all that, and you still have leftover inventory dollars, it's definitely time to go ahead and start selling other products. This is something that I messed up a lot in the beginning, or maybe this even applies to maybe you're a retail arbitrage seller, and you're really crushing it with retail arbitrage, but you've got too much money sitting around. You're not able to spend your money fast enough. Even if you are filling up carts at a time at retail stores, you can fill up carts in clicks when you're doing it online. So it's all about trying to think of the next kind of level that you want to scale to. So used books, if you've got too much money, it's time to do some arbitrage. If you're doing retail arbitrage, you've got too much money, it's time to do online arbitrage. If you're doing online arbitrage, you're not able to spend enough money, wholesale, and so on. I hope you see the point there. So that kind of ties into my next point, which is holding on to dead inventory. Capital is everything, as I've just talked about. Capital is everything on Amazon. So another big misconception that I made when I was first starting to sell was holding onto inventory for way too long. So when you're first starting, you don't have a lot of inventory. You don't have, even maybe you're starting on a pretty small budget. You're going to want to be holding on to things for way too long to see if that price comes back up. And a lot of times it's just not going to come back up. That's part of the game. Unfortunately, not every product you buy is going to be a home run or even profitable. But if you look at that Keepa graph, you're seeing that those items have never been that price before. It's going down. Lots of new sellers hopping on the listing. Lots of things to look out for. Maybe the sales rank is gradually increasing, and there's just nothing you can do about it. Then that's a good sign that it's a time to go ahead and get rid of that inventory, sell it. A good rule of thumb that I like to use for when I start repricing my inventory and liquidating my inventory. So after 2 weeks, if it's been live at Amazon for 2 weeks and I have no sales, then I'm going to be pretty significantly cutting that price. Generally, I'm not cutting to negative yet. I'm also going to be using the past Keepa to inform that decision. So maybe I sent it in and then the day stuff went live, and then only for those exact 2 weeks, it's been a slightly cheaper price. I might hold out there. But generally after 2 weeks of no sales, I'm going to be cutting that price a little bit. And then if I see a whole month where I don't sell anything of that product, I'm cutting to break even or even below break even, because like I've talked about, capital is everything in this game. So don't make the mistake of holding onto inventory too long. And that kind of goes into another mistake that I want to talk about. I've done a decent amount of the seasonals game. I'm sure a lot of you guys are crushing the seasonals game a lot more than I am. I like to sell those replenishables, things that are evergreen, toothpaste, deodorant, that kind of thing. But that said, when I do have some seasonals, and especially when I was first starting out, let's say with textbooks, this was a big issue. When you have those seasonal-ish items that are going way up in value during a certain season, or even only selling during that certain season, where if maybe take something like Christmas lights, something like that, it's super, super important to, again, get your money out of those products when it's in the season. So let's say like right now, it's a couple days after Christmas. Hopefully you've been able to sell out of all your Christmas stuff, but now you've got to make a big decision. You have to make the decision of whether to sell your Christmas stuff, probably at loss at this point, because everyone's trying to cut their prices and get out, or you have to hold it for a whole nother 10 months, 11 months before that Christmas stuff is going to start selling again. So in my opinion, if you're a beginning seller, it makes no sense to hold on to that seasonal inventory for a whole year. A fairly popular strategy for actually selling on Amazon is doing something called like a toy folio or something like that, long-term toy holding. So that kind of ties into the seasonal game. Whereas if you're a new seller, it makes no sense to be holding onto capital like that, because you're able to grow your money so much faster if you just keep investing it in those boring, consistent products, those 30, 40, 50% returns. Even if you were hoping for that big double up on the seasonal items or the big, double, triple, quadruple up on those used textbooks and stuff like that, it's super important to make sure that you're selling that inventory, get out of those seasonal products, and definitely don't buy a ton of seasonal products when you're first getting started. That's a game that I'm still figuring out myself. The seasonals game is very difficult just because you only have a very short time frame. I did that a lot with toys and stuff like that this year. I had a lot of success with that, but I'm also still learning. And I had some toys that I'm just going to be stuck with for a while. And for me, that's fine. I've got capital to play with. A lot of it's like Lego sets and stuff like that. That's going to be appreciating in value anyway. Maybe next year Amazon will sell out, that kind of thing. So it's not the end of the world for me. But if you're a small seller, maybe you've got $5,000 in capital to work with, that having $1,000, $2,000 worth of toys or Christmas lights or whatever still in inventory is going to kill your business growth. Because if you decide to hold on to that, you're going to be sacrificing growing that $1,000 to $2,000 at 30% every single month. Instead, you're going to be holding out for a whole nother year just to chase those 50 to 100% to maybe 200% ROIs at max. And if you do the math there, it just makes no sense to lock up that capital when you know that you can sell it at break even, maybe lose a little bit of money on that stuff, reinvest it, grow it for a whole year, and then come October next year, you can reinvest it into Christmas stuff. Having learned more from just growing that money is going to teach you more about Amazon. There's just so many reasons to get out of those seasonal items. Sell those products when they're stagnant. It's all about volume. I guess all these kind of lessons I've talked about are all cohesive. It's all increase your capital flow and make sure you don't have any stale inventory. It's all, you just got to keep things moving. Even if it hurts, I've done some repricing this week that's hurt because of all these Christmas seasonal things. All these great ideas that you thought you had. This was going to be a great flip. Don't take it personally. Just cut the price. It's just dollars and cents. Cut the price, take the dollars, reinvest, and move on. Another mistake that I definitely made as a new seller on Amazon was not getting ungated in things early enough. This again ties back into doing the used books, that kind of stuff for way too long. I kind of had a perception that getting ungated was way too hard. I had to pay some guru $100 to get ungated, and I just didn't want to do that. I didn't see the point. I hadn't learned everything that I know about cash flows now. So if you're in the boat where you still think getting ungated is super hard, there's some tips and tricks you can use. There's going to be a video up here that's going to walk you through the process of getting ungated in the major categories. But briefly, if you're brand new to Amazon, looking to avoid those mistakes when you're first starting, go to Frontier Co-op or Katy, Texas Wholesale. Order 10 units of whatever category you're trying to get ungated. Make sure that the item on Amazon actually matches that product you're buying, matches the category that you want to get ungated, and then go ahead and submit that invoice to Amazon. When you press that apply to sell button, and you'll be good to go. Those two wholesalers don't require reseller certificates as of the time of recording this. Things always change. But that's briefly, again, that video up in the top corner is going to help you out in depth if you're really lost on the ungating process, but highly encourage you to go ahead and get ungated as soon as possible. It's going to unlock a whole bunch of new opportunities for you. And it's kind of a hunch of mine that ungating gets a lot harder here in the near future. It's just way too easy now. There's way too many people who are authorized to sell Nike and Lego and all these great like national brand products. They could just be anybody. So definitely chase as many ungates as possible right now, because my suspicion is that it gets a lot harder here pretty soon. The last mistake that I want to talk about is networking. This was a big gap that I had in my business for the first probably 2 years of my Amazon business. If you're not already networking, you don't have people that you talk to about Amazon, you're bouncing off ideas off each other. There's so much value in that. Make sure we're putting out free content for you guys. Tons of us out here sharing all kinds of free information. Don't have a scarcity mindset about Amazon. Make sure you remember that we're all in this together. There's plenty of profitable products out there. Do not be closed-minded. So I would highly encourage you to go out and network and just tell people what you're selling. Go make friends based on providing value to each other, and the value will just come back to you. So on the macro scale, I've been making videos like this for a long time, and all of my most profitable relationships have come from people who know me because they first saw a video of mine. So don't be closed-minded about what you're doing. Make sure you're super open about what you're doing. Abundance mindset. There's enough out here for all of us. And actually go ahead and you know, on like on the level of actually being able to implement that, meet people through Discord groups and Facebook communities. I mean, soft plug here, we have a free Amazon seller Discord that's linked down below. Go ahead and talk with the guys in there. See if there's anybody who you would connect with. Start talking in the DM saying, hey, I'm selling this. What are you selling? Like just make good connections with people, provide value, and that value comes back to you. For probably 2 years, I wasn't really networked with anyone in the Amazon community, started meeting some people through making content, and you can literally see on my Amazon charts where I started hanging out with specific people, like where I started getting ideas from other people. My friend Miles, I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen his videos. That was a big boost on my Amazon account. Like you can see where we started talking to each other because we were just bouncing ideas off each other, and lots of other people in the Amazon space. You can literally see that progress on my past history charts where I was started to network. So abundance mindset, make sure you're making friends in the Amazon community. Check out that Discord if you want to, hop in the community down there. But I hope you guys found some value in this video. If you did, please feel free to add some value to my business. Hit that subscribe button down below. I'd really appreciate that. Feel free to drop any questions, comments you guys have down below. I'm always happy to answer those, but I really appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you next time.